I have to admit the past 15 weeks have been quite eventful to say the least, in terms of both what I've learned, what I've gained, the friendships I've made, and also just, how far I've come along my learning journey in Challenge Lab. And I think I have to say that the biggest thing that I could have taken away from this class is not just how to build a company, or be successful in technology and stuff, but more importantly, sort of how to cultivate relationships and sort of like work with a team. I think that's like something that I really wanted to learn, and I'm very glad that that's something that I really did learn. So, you know, I want to spend this vlog kind of like talking about like having a recollection of what I've sort of gained from the first week that I came in Challenge Lab. A tiny, young entrepreneur to like who I am now. Still very young, still very inexperienced, but really excited to take on new challenges and try out the world. So, without further ado, first week I came into the class expecting that, not gonna lie, expecting it to be a pretty easy class. I wanted to just like learn how to build my own company and sort of get along with it, not too much work. But from the get-go, we sort of were plunged into this environment where they were making us do a lot of activities, work with people. It was a long class, so we definitely had a lot of activities and a lot of cool speakers. But even the first few weeks, I would say like week 1, week 2, I still sort of, had a sense that I sort of knew what was going on. Like I was like, I know how entrepreneurship works. I know all this stuff. But in reality, what was yet to come was the fact that I would have my entire belief system in entrepreneurship completely, just shattered and sort of built from scratch. And that's what I think that the first few weeks really were used for. I think it was like the first few weeks were sort of like a formative representation of like, here are the skills you need, the fundamental skill set you need to be an entrepreneur, and we're trying to see if you have that skill inside of you, and like we want to help you cultivate that skill when it comes to the later weeks when you actually have to build your own company. So that actually proved to be very useful because I learned the importance of teamwork, the importance of sort of, for example, even in the trading up game, I learned how small decisions can make such a large impact if you play your cards right. So playing your cards was a really big lesson I learned from that as well. A lot of different games in the beginning of the semester, which I sort of initially thought were sort of silly. I ended up really realizing the value in them later on because I realized that, they were really meant to teach us a lesson in the large scheme of things. Teach us that like entrepreneurship truly is a lot more than just sort of putting numbers on a spreadsheet for a company or writing a couple lines of code. It's a lot more than just having a team. It's sort of a synergy of every single factor that comes along, which includes team, which includes sort of having the necessary skill sets like technology, sort of having a diverse team as well. And that's also another thing we really learned. I realized that like as the weeks went by, we sort of focused on a specific like facet of entrepreneurship before week 6 or 7 when we actually started building things by ourselves. So one really big thing that I wanted to reflect on in this entry was just like how much I feel like I've changed. And I think that change is a really interesting thing because it can be negative, but I think that I definitely did change for the better in terms of the fact that I became a lot more comfortable with failure. And it's pretty hard for me to say, being a perfectionist, I really love to see things succeed and see things work before my eyes. But this class taught me that a lot of times these things won't work the way you want them to, and it's oftentimes okay to sort of be okay with like when things are slow, when things are taking their own time, because if things were just to work out every single time, it wouldn't really be fun and it wouldn't really be accurate. Like that's just not how things happen in real life. In real life, things fail, things mess up, and people have to start from scratch sometimes. And that's something I learned as well, sort of how to always stay on your feet and be flexible. I think that's a really good skill to have in the field of entrepreneurship because it really like shows you the importance of always knowing, when do you play your cards at what time. Like timing is always really key when it comes to these things. Working with my team, Kevin, Lily, Chunyan, and Rahul, I realized how every single person in the team had a different role, and every single person, really stuck to that role and made sure that like whatever work they did, really reflected what they were really good at. For example, I did a lot of work on design and on the actual technology and the actual like development of our product. So it was like really, really cool to actually work with a team that had a lot of different skill sets because Lily and Chunyan were really good in the business connect. They were really well connected. And so their help was really necessary to us because we learned a lot from them and like how to sort of find the right people to be in your startup, because then you like the process of actually being successful and like actually building some stuff becomes easier because every single person knows exactly what they want to do. So I think again, like looking back for these past 15 weeks, it definitely has been a journey. I really, really am grateful I took this class. It was really fun, a lot more work than I expected, but hey, like I think that classes at Berkeley especially should really be, work heavy, especially if it's an IEOR class. I'm really excited. I'm really, really happy with what I took away from it. A lot of learning took place. Would definitely recommend this course to other people. Amazon Google section was really, really cool, especially considering the fact that I'm really interested in machine learning and data science. So it was really interesting for me to actually build some models on my own, and I really appreciated that part of the actual class. Yeah, I think in general, I'm really, really happy coming out of this class because of just like what I've gained and how sort of comfortable I felt in the environment that I was in, and how, I've really changed and improved as a personal entrepreneur. And I think that's the biggest thing that I take away is the fact that every single person has their own learning curves, and I'm really, really proud of how I'm coming out of this class. So thank you to Bailey. Thank you to Ken. I know you're probably watching this vlog right now. Thank you to Shomit. Thank you to every single person who really took the time and effort to make this class happen. I really, really appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun. So see you guys.